we're live. Just finishing off a little bit of setting up here now, and so we're live. So how you doing, everyone, and welcome back to our live winter fly tying sessions here in Pescari Fly. It's been a while since I've done one of these. The last time we did it was during the big lockdown. Looks like we're heading back there again, so decided to get back online and pass a few Saturday nights away with a bit of fly tying, a bit of crack and a bit of chat and conversation, and just have a bit of fun. So if anyone's got any questions throughout the evening, by all means shoot them across. I'll do my best to answer them and to see what we can get through tonight. Just have a bit of fun. So if anyone's got any questions throughout the evening, by all means shoot them across. Basically the format that we're going to do is I got 4 patterns picked for tonight. 4 patterns of kind of, hey Liam Long is see what good evening to yourself, sir. See what we can get through tonight. Well, just have a bit of
got
fun.
4
so
patterns here to kind of
across a broad field of basically the format that we're going to do is I got 4 patterns picked for tonight. 4 patterns of kind of a bit of a season we had this year. See what see what we can get through the way if anybody has just have a bit of fun.
got 4 patterns here to kind of
across a broad field of
basically cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 patterns picked. It's a bit of fun. Lots of a bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we can get through today if anybody has.
I've got 4 patterns here
kind of across a broad field. Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 patterns. It's a bit of fun. Lots of a bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. It's on it.
I've got 4 patterns here kind of
across a broad field. Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 patterns. Lots of a bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. It's on it. I've got 4 patterns here kind of Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 patterns. Lots of a bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. Heavy water have to bigger Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 lots of a bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. Heavy water have to bigger Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. Heavy water Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. Heavy water Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. Heavy water Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. Heavy water Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. Heavy water Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. Heavy water Saturday nights away.
Cover over the next couple of weeks.
We're going to do shoot me across 4 bit of a season we had this year. Tread breaks and everything like that, so see what we got through today. Heavy water
Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
So just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
so just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
so just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
so just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
so just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
so just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
so just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
so just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
so just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8. Probably for the next couple of weeks. You shouldn't have worked on
so just the players are getting
season out. Take time to break down everything like that. They should do that. They will be working hard. Saturday to 8.
I get stuck into some good fly tying now in a minute. New new setup here. My IT support is working away online there now, and hopefully we'll get going. Let's get the sound sorted now, and then we'll get going in a second. So I think we're good to go. Everyone happy with that? Does that seem to be coming through okay? Perfect. Robbie says go for it. Thanks, Rob. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Few minor glitches, but I said this is live. Plenty of bleepers, Fs along the way, tread breaks, and we'll that's a bit of fun. Saturday night live here, Piscari Fly. Going to tie a few flies, right? So I was talking about parachute sedge that I've been using in the last number of months on the river for dry dropper. Really effective. Not only is it was able to support a lot of weight underneath it with the high. Thanks, Graham. No problem at all. Great to be back doing live shows. We're going to keep it going for a few weeks, guys. We're going to try and pass the winter every Saturday night for the winter, get through a few patterns and a bit of crack. But anyway, this parachute sedge really was one of my best finds this year. Got a lot of fish on it, really did its job very well, and we're going to tie it right now. It's a very simple pattern, not that complicated, but certainly is highly effective. So what I've got in the device there is a 301 Dahaku size 12. Hope everyone can see the visual on that. It's a bit better than last time. We've got some new tech in here, and it certainly looks what I'm looking at anyway looks to be a lot more detailed. So you're going to spot a lot more mistakes than you did the last time. So I'm going to start off a bit of my old usual Kevlar there, and put in a nice bed of that. Hey, Tommy Lane is on there from County Cork. Tommy was part of the winning team in the Thomastown competition this year. Well done, Tommy. Had a massive haul of fish himself and Mikey Foley. It was great to get that competition over the line this year, and went off with a great success, and was delighted to see Tommy and Mikey up on the podium there getting the gold medals, and well done. So back to the fly anyway. So just a bit of the thread there. For the post, I'm going to use our own new Piscari Fly Parapost. The stuff we've only got in recently, and find it's really good. Very light, water resistant, doesn't soak up a whole heap of water, and very highly visible when they're out fishing too. Now I've watched some videos on this kind of tying this particular fly. Some people, I know David McPhail and some people, they tie the post in afterwards on a DeVoe sedge that he was doing. Personally, I like to tie the post in first, and then build the rest of the fly around. It makes it a little bit more awkward, but I find I get my required finish. Just going to tie that in on top, and then it's going to form a post around it. Just because it's so light, just take your time and build that post up off that hook, and that's what's going to support your hackle. So once you're happy enough with that, then we can then begin to build. So I'm just going to move that up along the hook a little bit. Tom Ankertel is on there from Borbury. How you doing, Tom? Good to see you back. So just going to trim off just a little bit, just to make life a little bit easier myself. And I'm going to come down along the fly here. Now I did tie some of these with an orange tag along the way, but didn't find them quite as popular as without the tag. For the body, then we're just going to form a bit of a body here, and this is just a mix of my own dubbing. There's a whole heap of stuff in that. The base of it would be hare's ear, fox squirrel, all that kind of stuff, and there's every kind of spectra UV into it. It's a mix I use for my pheasant tails and stuff like that. Anyone that knows my particular Frenchy pheasant tail, that's the mix. So, by the way, in a few minutes I'm going to announce the winner of our first winter competition, which was, we put up a like and share competition there last Monday. It ran till tonight. We picked the winner, and I have the winner here. Someone's going to win themselves over 300 beads tonight. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to announce that there now. Might do it after I get this fly. So I'm going to tie a nice beefy body. Back along that fly. It's going to move that post a little bit closer to the head. Another small pinch of. Don't forget, if anybody has any questions or want to comment on it, please, by all means, or just say hello to people. Do. This is about to chat to and pass the old evening. Pour yourselves a cold one. So once I got a bit of dubbing on the body there, I'm going to take a little bit of natural deer hair, small pinch, not a massive amount. Just a nice small little pinch of natural deer hair. Don't over worry about tips lining up and stuff like that. And we're going to just tie that in there as well, on top. And just take your time trimming that out, that you don't cut out any of that post. So it's a little bit tight up around there when you're tying this, but I find it was the better finish I got was when I tied the whole thing in together. Just moisten up that power post, and that'll keep that nice and locked in there for you. So once I got that bit of deer hair in there, I'm then going to take a couple of plumes of natural CDC. Nice natural, good chunk of it. I think I have about five, possibly 6 in there. Robbie, I'll send you on the number, that IT guy. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's not too bad. You got to keep the hard work from to keep him going. But I'll send you on his number. All right, Rob. So tie in those back along there, and again just tidy up your mess. Now I tied this in 14s as well. But I say during this winter, or the summer, should I say, we had an awful lot of heavy water. We seem to have really nice levels this year for consistent heavy water, and found that I was fishing a lot more 3 mils and even two beads under a clink. And I'm just going to brush out that body now, because those lovely bits of UV and spectra, they kind of brush up into that wing a little bit, and makes it a lovely underbody for what the fish are going to be looking up at. So give it a nice little brush out there. Yeah, Robbie Berry, normal hairs here, absolutely. Yeah, you can use whatever you want on this fly. It's about the technique, really. It's just, this is the exact one that I was using all summer. Normal hairs here, fox squirrel. Whatever you find to be productive for you in a sage pattern, well then by all means, yeah, absolutely. This is not a deadlock pattern. It's more of it's the technique of tying and stuff. So once we got our hackle, I'm using grizzle on this. Again, there's no rules to say that you actually, I'm just going to undo that, just retie that in just a little bit better. There's no rules say you don't have to use, you have to use grizzle. You can use a natural brown there, or a black, or whichever, depending on the stage or depending on the fly you're tying, whatever works best for you. This was tied as an indicator fly and for dry dropper, and it's really good even if it's not what would you say, if it's not catching a lot of fish, but as regards, or if it's not heavy water, should I say, it's not really heavy floody water you were using, well then it's really good in fast rapid water. If the rivers aren't flooded, like as a dry fly or an indicator with a smaller bead behind it, as you will see this thing float. There was another actually thing I tied about this fly as well. Just the way the sunlight was kind of different, sunlight and daylight was on the river over the summers, kind of late summer sessions. I found fishing it directly upstream, especially on the Nore with that big open space and water. You know, the glare coming out of the river made it very hard to see the hot pink or the hot pink or the hot pink or the hot red. So I actually was tying with a black para post, and I found it to be fantastic. Really, really good. Very visible going up again the glare. I actually tied a few then with just with a black marker, tipping the pink with a black marker, and that wasn't bad. But tying with a black para post was really good again this year. So I'm just going to put an extra little bit of that body dubbing. Now and again, you can use a different colour there if you want, peacock or something, if you want to just break up that body colour. For this one, I'll keep it all the same. But yeah, definitely tie some clinks with black para post. It was fantastic. So you can see now while I leave that post just that little bit longer, I can catch that with my hand as I bring it around and get that nice tight turn of hackle on it to make sure it stays there. If you cut that bit of short at the start of that fly, it's going to be that little bit more awkward. A couple of nice turns in there, and I just slide that thread along the post, along the stem of the feather, and it slots nicely in there. I mean, 2 or 3 turns to lock it into place. Bit of tension on that. Don't pluck it off. Just put a bit of tension on there just to make sure it's well secured in, and then snip it away. I'm just going to just hold them back a little bit, just to expose a little bit of a gap there in at the head. Another couple of turns to lock it in. A little bit of a whip finish, and take away the waste, and do a little bit of tidying up. There's a little bit of dubbing sticking out there. Again, not meant to be a picture perfect fly. It's meant to catch fish, so don't mind if there's a little bit of dubbing sticking out here or there. But that thing will float like crazy. And not only that, you'll see it from a mile away. And as I always say, you know, the fly you're using on your dry dropper for the dry fly, it's got to be able to achieve 3 things. Firstly, it's got to be able to float and support the weight that's underneath it. Secondly, it's got to be able to so firstly, it's got to be able to float. Secondly, it's got to be able to support the weight that's underneath it. And thirdly, it's got to be able to catch a fish. And you got to be able to see it. You know, so it certainly covers all those aspects. Catches fish, you're certainly well able to see that, and it's certainly definitely one for the box. Titan 12s, 14s. Don't be afraid to go big. Some people were looking at it last year when I was saying, what people were asking me what I was using for my clinks and stuff like that in high summer, and I take this size 12 big thing out of the box and I go, there you go, guys, that's what I've been using. And they go, geez, that's a bit big, isn't it? But no, honest to God, in fast water and heavy water, that was catching me an awful lot of fish this year. Really good fly. Not that complicated, you know. It's a bit tight for space there. You'll just get your proportions right and get everything right. A bit of practice on it, and you know, it's definitely one for the season. Just something different than a clink hammer, you know, than clinks the whole time. So one well worth having in the box. So there you go. That's that one. Little drop of vino. Okay. So earlier on, I put up a post on a daddy. I was asked for a kind of daddy hog or daddy deer hair sage kind of thing by one of our customers, and that's one that I tied quite a bit this latter half of the season for a lot of people. And those of you who've seen the post of it earlier on, I put up on Facebook just to give a bit of a teaser to what we're going to tie. One of the flies we're going to tie tonight. And that's it there. So it was a really, really productive fly for a lot of people this year. Not overly complicated to tie, but there's a few little things to it just to make it to make it effective. And we're going to tie that now as well as a lake fly for tonight. So I'm just going to pull a bit of stuff here beside me. And thanks, Graham. Sean Maher thinks it looks a bit as well. If you give it your blessing, Sean, I'm not too far off. So now, so this one here, we are going to start by making the body. As I say, the body is a foam detached body. Not hard to do. Most people, I don't know, or have seen how to do it. And basically, I'm going to put a needle, small, fine needle, a bit springy, but I like it small and fine for doing this kind of thing. And I've got a little bit of tan foam here. So first thing I'm going to do is cut out a section and shape it. You'll see the shape now in a second when I get this cut away. This is a very good process for doing mayfly bodies as well. I do a lot of mayflies, detached body mayflies, and I used the very same process. Now obviously we won't have a tail in this, but very good for doing mayfly bodies as well. Those are that are into your mayflies, and you can even do it smaller for large dark olives and rivers and stuff like that as well. So I'm just shaping a sliver. So you can see the bit of shape I have to that now. It's tapering down into the middle, and we got kind of, I was getting used to these cameras, they're all working backwards, but got kind of a shallow centre, tapers out to either side, and that just allows a natural taper. I'm then getting my dubbing needle, and I'm going to just, before I put it onto that needle there, I'm actually just going to pierce a hole with it. I find it easier to control exactly where the hole is going when I do it with my hand first, and then slide it up onto the needle there. We're going to use an olive tying thread to form this body. So first thing we're going to do is just tie a couple, get our thread onto that needle, a couple of loose turns. So I like using it. You can use a heavier needle for this, but I like using that kind of finer needle. So I've just slid my foam up through the pre-formed hole up onto where that thread is, and now I'm going to start tying in my segmented effect, and that's so. Just bring your thread up a little bit. Brown thread is quite good for this too, to give that little darker shade in those crevices, but for this particular pattern, olive was quite effective. Just take your time, don't put over pressure on the thread. Just twisting a bit on me there. Hope everyone's keeping well, and he's all had a good season for what it was. It was a different kind of season. I don't think we've ever had a season like that before. Well, I certainly never had a season like that before, where we spent so much time off the river and very little competitions and zero travelling. Gee, because normally we'd have travelled, we could be ending up to 6 or 8 times this year abroad fishing, and we didn't get any trips at all. But got some really good local fishing on the Nord this year, probably because I spent more time on it than I have in years. But yeah, God, we had some really fantastic fishing. Early morning fishing I found to be the best at crack of dawn, kind of. Was super fishing. So once I got 6 or 8 kind of segments on that body, I'm just going to whip finish. Keeps spinning now, which is a pain in the ass, but a couple of whip finishes just there at the end, just to tie off your thread. I'm going to form that and shape that a little bit better now in a second. I've got one more thing to add in. So just what I was doing for this particular fly and this pattern is I'm going to add in a little kind of hot red hot spot here on just that last very tip segment. Using a bit of Tamifly UV reflective. Just get into that last segment there. Put a couple of turns in there. Secure it in. I'm using a small bit of this varnish on the needle. Just going to put a little bit of varnish onto that red hot thread and just whip it in there. Just gives a very subtle little hot spot, just right to the butt of that fly. Now, an awful lot of people tie detached bodies with those foamed, Vineyards foamed, which are quite good. All we're going to do then is catch the butt of it, slide it straight off. Okay. Might one bit of a crossover there and thread, but it's okay. The Vineyards pre-foamed cylinders, and they're very good. I use them quite a lot myself. This is just a little bit different. And basically what I'm doing here now, you can't see it, but I'm actually just rolling that on the table. Just giving it a bit of a roll on the table, between the table and my finger. Get a nice shape to it. And there you have it. A little bit of a crossover on one of those threads, but that's okay. I'm happy enough with that. Yeah, they're pretty good, really, you know, really good, but it's just something a little different as well. You see an awful lot of people burning the tips of those as well to get that little black tip, and you can just use a black marker on that one if you want to get that black tip, and that's to represent the female daddy. The male daddy doesn't have a black tip. It's more of a square butt. So if I was to leave it more natural like that, the way that one is, well then I would say we're representing the male body of the daddy. But the hook I'm going to use here is a where did I put that? I had it in my hand a second ago, took it out of the packet. It's a 611 size 12. It's curved hook. Size 12, good strong hook. Hey Mikey, how's it going? Hope you're keeping well too. Yeah, the new camera setup. Robbie, who Kilmallock man there, helped me rig all that up. And fair play to him. So I'm going to start off a little bit back to my olive thyme thread just for the moment. And I'm just going to put on. We're not going far down the hook here. We don't have much body or anything to add it to this, so you don't want to bring it the whole way down the hook. Okay, the daddy body should come straight off the hook. We don't put in preform. We don't put in. So depending on what size you want it, how long you want that body coming back, secure. Oh, my mistake. I should have actually just trimmed that up a little bit and tidied it up to make a bit of a taper on it. It just helps to form into the body a little bit better. So these detached bodies are very good for mayflies as well. As you can see, I tied an awful lot of them this year for an awful lot of guys that never even got to fish them. So once we've mounted our body, we're then going to put in some daddy legs. Dave Coughlin's on there. Thanks, Dave. Hope everyone's enjoying the new setup. A little bit more detailed than the last one we had back in March and April. But say, only problem is you're going to spot an awful lot more mistakes. But that's okay. It's live. Bit of fun. Anybody has any questions or anything they want to know, shoot them across. And over to say we're going to keep us going for the winter, guys. So beyond most Saturday nights, you know, I'm sure there'll be an odd Saturday night along the way somewhere that are just between kids and whatever else. I mightn't get the opportunity to come on live, but going to do most Saturday nights to pass the winter. And little say watching at the press and news and so just attached in 4 daddy legs either side, and now we're going to put in a little bit of Cree. A few Cree tips just for some wings. So if anybody has anything they want to see, by all means shoot across even during the week. Give me a shout and I'll have no problem in doing it no matter what it is. Well, at least I'll try anyway, and if not, I'll research it and see what I come up with. If someone's having problems with any aspect of their fly tying or fly fishing, so it's all about just having a chat, guys, sharing a bit of information, and we'll all pass the bit together. So just tying in those Cree tips. Out the back. 2 for 1 there now. So What I'm going to do then is I'm actually going to whip finish off that particular thread, and we're going to swap threads for the rest of the fly. Just a bit of finer Kevlar. Attach that back in there. Now, as you can see, what I want to do now is I want to kind of get a bit of positioning on those wings and, excuse me, legs. So what I got is a little bit of light brown dubbing here, and we're going to just tease out with a little bit of light brown dubbing and just use it for the purpose of parting those legs, wings and stuff, just to flare out a little bit off that tail. Get a nice tight dub on that. A little bit of tedious work here now, just separating. Dubbing needle's always handy, just to pull out the wings away from the tails, or away from the legs, and get a turn in behind them. Also means when it gets wet, and if you're using it, you know, you have options with this fly to use as a pulling fly, to use as a dry fly, whatever. So if it gets wet, those kind of different components don't all just gets kind of mulched in together, that you actually get a little bit of a differentiation between them. Helps with the kind of movement of the fly as well, which is very important if you're using it as a pulling fly, you know. Makes those legs and wings just kind of react a bit to each pull, and allows them just to work a little bit better. So again, just make sure you get all in around there, getting everything into the exact position you want it. You can see now we're getting a nice kind of flare on those legs and those tails back out. That's fine, I'm happy enough with that. And we've covered up any of the underbody work that was done in around that area with threads and stuff. Okay, so next thing we're going to do then, which is the most distinctive feature of this fly, is put on that deer hair. Now, there's a way of doing this deer hair that I've been mucking around with lately. Now, I know it's been done before plenty of times. Barry R. Clark, in his book, The Fly Tying Techniques, the Featherbender, he shows kind of a diagram of how to put on deer hair, zonkers kind of stuff, you know. So, and it makes it very easy, you know. If you have a strip of deer hair like this, either cut it yourself. There's not too many places that sell it. You never know, Piscari Fly might be selling it soon. We might try and sell it, but I just, this is just a skin of my own, and I basically just took about a 4mm strip off it, and this makes it really easy for doing muddler heads on wet flies and stuff like that. Some deer hair work, really it makes it so much easier than stacking and pinching and pulling and twisting. It's one well worth exploring. Can be a bit messy at the same time. Deer hair is always a messy material to work with, but just take your time and do it step by step, and you will get there. So basically, we've got our strip of deer hair. You can kind of get a rough idea. It's about 3 to 4mm in width. Nice chunk of deer hair on that. A few flies gone off this one already. It's about it's a good foot long. Darren Duffy loves those zonkers. There was someone on looking for these zonkers off me recently. Oh Jesus, I can't even think of the man's name. He'll probably come on there now and correct me very quickly that I was saying, God, he was looking to source them, and I said, give me a couple of days and I'll see what I can do for you. I never got back to him, but I will. I promise, if you're watching now, I will get back to you. Just had a busy couple of days. So with it, I'm using a bull clip here. Find it quite easy. Go in onto the deer hair as much as you want. You don't need to go the whole way down to the skin, because if you do, you're going to have a very long cloak back over that fly, and you're not going to get those natural tips. If you have to trim it, you're not going to get those natural tips. Just to go just nice just enough over the body, as you can see with our sample we made earlier on. You know, you want them kind of like a cloak, almost like a dabbler effect. So, you know, be selective enough with deer hair. Muck around with it, but you can look inside your bull clip then, and you can see how much deer hair I'm going to cut off. As you can see there and behind that, I have a fair idea that I'm going to get an inch, 3/4 of an inch is about what I want. And not a massive amount of deer hair. You don't need a full bull clip. Like, I'm talking maybe a half to a little less than a half of a bull clip. And when you're trimming it, don't trim it off dead tight to the bull clip. Cut it off, leave about 2 or 3mm on the outside of the bull clip with a nice straight cut. Okay? Everything's nice and clean, compact. and easy to work with. Take out your down, take out any kind of loose stuff that's there, and you got one nice clean piece of deer hair ready to be spun. Okay, so partially the reason why we changed over to the Kevlar, this Kevlar of ours, it's super easy to split rather than those twisted time threads. So just splitting it, taking my piece of deer hair, sliding it in there between the two strands, catching hold of those two strands and make sure they're going to lock in tight on that deer hair once you release. And there you go. Everyone see that? Locked in, dead tight, no messing. Pinch your thread, start to spin. Now if you want them to be a bit shorter in the natural tips, just before you let go of the first spin, just cut them in. Just stroke them back a bit. Bring them back up on the thread a little bit, just like I did there. And hey Robbie. Hope you're keeping well. Graham Longrigan looking for strips, yeah, they're very good. Look, leave it with me for a few days, and I'll see what I can do. If I get them, I'll stick them up on that I've got them on the shop, lads. I'm gonna have to figure out some way of cutting them. I have the skins, so you can see what I'm doing here now. I'm spinning that deer hair, just making sure it's well spun, nicely even shaped. And at any stage, if you've got a little clump or two extra, you can now slide in there, just take it out, tease it out a bit, make sure you got a nice consistent. Any extra long ones, just pluck them out before we finish our spins, and make sure it's nice and consistent. There we go. Nice dubbing brush, deer hair dubbing brush, very easy to work with. So basically what we're going to do now is we're just going to dub that on like any dubbing brush. But we're going to take our time and pull stroke by stroke the whole way back. Just up along that fly. Take it back a step or two if stuff starts getting folded down in the wrong direction for you. Take your time and form that head quite well. If you go long enough, best thing with the deer hair, couple of plucks, and you can shorten that dubbing brush quite easily. Just pluck out the excess dubbing, or the excess deer hair, and just a little bit too much on there. Normally if I'm doing quite a few of these and I know the particular size, once I get the first one kind of fairly right, I mark my bull clip of exactly how much lengthwise needs to go in there to form the perfect head, and it's quite simple then after that. So keep everything folded back, get up to the eye of the fly. We're not looking for a big massive head on this. Just form it, getting everything nice and tidy back there. Take your whip finish. Now if you're tying river sedges and stuff like that, or what's the name of that sedge? Is it a good hard sedge? That has the full deer hair body. That's a very easy way of doing that sedge body. Without stacking and pushing and piling back. And when you do trim that, as you can see already, like when I've that in there, like I don't even hardly have to trim that head to get that nice muddler shape on it. It's already formed there because we put it in a dubbing brush. Where if I'd actually done it the more traditional way of cutting off lumps, stacking it, spinning it on to the actual hook, like for one it'd be just a big mess, and I'd run the risk of cutting off some of those tails or cutting off some of those wings or whatever else, and I hardly even have to touch that with the scissors now. It looks absolutely fantastic. Just a bit of a brush to make everything back into exactly where it wants to be. And and that's basically what I was doing all summer, was just leaving that. Now, there's one or two little bits there I might just give it a little trim, but like there is no trimming on that process. It is a fantastic way to work with deer hair, and really, really nice. Even for wet mayflies, I was doing wet maize with that process as well. Dabblers, putting a spin on a dabbler, and God, he looked absolutely fantastic during the summer. And there you go. That's kind of my take on a daddy hog or a daddy deer hair, whatever his way you want to describe it. But Fergal was asking for that one from Kildare, and he was up fishing Lean a few times, and in the latter half of the season he was looking for something like that. So there's one that was, and that proved to be, a good few people fished that for me this year over in the west and a few other places up in Sheelan. Got some really good fishing, and you can see it's a very attractive looking fly, no problem catching fish on that. Quite robust as well. And hi Dell, hi Owen, hi Cormac. Hope you're all keeping well up there. See, he's went to the library today and got yourselves a fine go of books. Yeah, Declan Noonan, absolutely. The bull clip. The bull clip is a fantastic tool. I know people use the magic tool a lot, but that's my go-to. And there's a couple of, the metal, that straight metal blade there is just fantastic for running knives and blades across and things like that. When I'm trimming shellback and different kind of scud back materials, that is a really good go-to material. You're talking €1, maybe 1.50 in a good stationery store, and yeah, fantastic. But that's a really good fly. Really good fly. Well worth to try. Trim it up a bit more if you want, but definitely it's that's definitely one for boxing tie and mayfly style as well if he's like that form of course. We might do one of the mayflies maybe next week or the week after. I'll do one of the detached mayfly bodies that I did during the summer. I know I sent a heap of them to Sheelan, with that deer hair kind of effect on it, with a bit of a cross between a dabbler there as well, and God, they were fantastic, and they were getting some serious fish on them up there. Little red spot there, as you can see in the butt, just an extra little thing just to catch that fish's, to catch the fish and to catch the fish's attention. Well worth tying. So now that's our lake flight done for Fergal. So what we're going to do now is going to move over to. I got kind of two more picked. So I'm going to move over to a nymph pattern that worked quite well during the summer months again when we were fishing in heavy water and stuff like that. I know with a lot of heavy water coming down the north this year, which was great because you were fishing top quality water all year. The fishing was fantastic, but there was a nymph kind of was not struggling to get nymphs down deep, but it was definitely having to be using a lot of 3.5, a lot of 4 mils to get down into the pockets for fish. And I started fishing this particular nymph, and it was really, really good. So I'm just thinking, where do I start with this one? Quite simple, not that complex. Now it is a double beaded nymph, so it is not competition friendly, but we don't always fish competitions. You can figure out other ways of tying a similar nymph to get the visual effect and to get the depth effect, and obviously hide, not have a second bead showing. But this is a double beaded hare's ear nymph, and this thing was absolutely, there was times during the year. I know when I was practicing for that, if anyone had seen that, competition a few of us fished, that 1 hour, the 1 hour fish off, this was a nymph that I was practicing with during the heavy sessions, and I was getting, I think one session I had 56 an hour on this nymph. It was absolutely devastating. Heavier water though. When I turned around to fish the session 3 or 4 days later, the river level dropped by those 3 or 4 inches, and then it becomes a completely different river, so it was a fantastic nymph to use. So basically what I have there is I got a size 12 to Haku jig hook. I got a 3.5 mil tungsten slotted bead up on that, and I got a 3 mil hot orange countersunk bead sitting in behind it. Okay, so this is a hare's ear caddis kind of pattern. So I'm going to start off with a bit of chartreuse, Tommy trade. The number is 1 or 11. I think it's 11. Actually, this number 11. I had to look at it twice there. Number 11. And I'm going to form a little tag here at the butt of the fly. And I always do. Leave on the waist. Don't cut off the waist just yet. Form a nice little butt. This is designed to go deep. And then pull that tag, the waist, back up over that tag and secure it in. And that basically traps in that tag, stops it from going down. Because I'm going to be doing a bit of brushing on this one to brush up my hair's ears as I normally do. And I don't want to brush it. Next thing, see that tag slip the whole way down the hook. Now you can seal it up with a bit of resin or use a bit of varnish on it. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not mad about the look of it. I like that kind of just, the pure. Sometimes putting a bit of varnish and resin on it can make it a little bit translucent and change colour. And I like the colour on it the way it is. So by pulling the waste end back up over the tag, you don't lose the strength, and when you go to brush it out, it won't slide down the hook on you. So now I'm going to tie in a little bit of Kevlar. Oh, I must announce the winner. I'm going to do it now, actually, the winner. So, of our competition that was started on Monday, we're going to be running, I know during the lockdown last March and stuff, we started running a lot of competitions. And we're going to get back into that now this winter as well, to make everyone pass the winter. And just to say thanks to all our customers for their support over the year. It was a tough year on a lot of people. And this is kind of the first year I went full-time at this game. For those who know me, I retired back in December. So I really appreciate all the help and support we got here in Mascari Fly. So we like to give a little bit back. So our first competition was for over 300 beads. In there I've got 100 slotted tungsten beads. We got well over 100, possibly up to 200 different glass beads. And we got some bead heads. So the winner of this is going to be covered with beads for a while between their winter months and the spring months. And we did a draw just before it came online, and a man by the name of Paul White won our first winter competition. Paul, you tagged Aidan Rush in it. I'm not sure if you're watching tonight. I haven't messaged you yet, but once we go off the live show, I will give you a shout, get your contact details, and you will get your beads in the post onto you on Monday. Again, thanks for everyone for taking part, and watch out this Monday, we got another one coming. So we're going to try and keep it going now for the winter, keep everyone occupied. It looks like we're heading down a bad road again, guys and girls, so it's we might as well just try and make as light of it as possible as we can, and we'll certainly do our best here to try and pass a bit of time, which is so as a tail I'm putting in a little bit of olive partridge. Strip that across. Fergal's on there, good man Fergal. Yeah, you saw that one, did you? Good stuff. Yeah, I hope you're happy with that now. If there's anything you need off of that, by all means give me a shout back, Fergal. So a bit of a tail there is just a little bit of dyed olive partridge. For the rib, I'm using a flat sulky. That's the Gutterman sulky. Go to your, I think I've said that before, but I'll say it again. Go to your local sewing shops. I know there's a really good one in Clonmel. John Walsh in Kildare had told me about a really good one up around Clane or somewhere. I'm not 100% sure. I forget, but I meant to get up there and didn't get a chance. And they stock an awful lot of this stuff. Really, really worth having, and there's a bunch on it. Like, I've been trying with that thing for the last 5 or 6 years. But it's really good for ribbon, like hare's ears, you know, different things like that. Caddis, because it's flat, it doesn't cut through the hare's ear like a wire would, and it's much more visible once the hare's ear gets wet. Where wire, sometimes it sinks into that soft hare's ear, and you don't really see it quite as good when it's wet. That stuff sticks out a mile, so definitely get your hands on some of that if you are passing anytime in the future against one of those Zinger or sewing shops, and you'll see it. Using a bit of natural hare's ear here for this. And just going to dub that on. Nice tapered body up to that first bead. Dave wants to know, could I make a vaccine for the COVID? Geez, look at Dave, leave with me. I might throw a few things on the hook and see if I can. But yeah, gee, cause I don't know. I don't know if anyone. I've stopped watching the news at this stage. I know an odd thing pops up on my social media and stuff like that, but I've just given up watching the news. I couldn't be listening to it anymore. Just, you know, it's one of these things that we're just going to have to learn to live with. It's my opinion, and I'm not preaching to anyone by any means. But you know, it's one of those things we're going to have to learn to live with, and just get on with life as best as we can. And that's just, yeah, look at it. So I'm just going to rib that up. Now, it's not a massive long body there, so I'm trying to squeeze in 4 or 5 nice ribs, as I know when that fly gets wet, those lovely copper ribs are going to just come through that lovely soft dubbin, and it's going to look very fishy indeed. Snip it off, take away that for the moment. We're not finished yet, but usual, my old dubbin brush. Give it a brush out. Now, if I hadn't put that waste piece up over that tag would now probably be down around the vise somewhere. It would have all fell down, brushed down. So, because I'm giving that a good brush, I want to get that body for one nicely tapered and get some of that lovely soft hackle out there, make it very callousy looking. Okay, we're going to add back in our thread now again. I say, guys, all along, if anyone has anything that they want to talk about or see, by all means, give me a shout, or just say hello. It's all about the chat and the crack too. It's, you know, it's to pass my evening as much as everyone else's. So, by all means, do. So we're going to be here for most weeks throughout the winter months. Might do a Christmas special maybe, some stage over the Christmas. No doubt we could be all in lockdown then, but so we might pick some kind of a theme or a topic that everyone wants to see, and we might do a Christmas special, maybe a bit longer. And then have a few extra free giveaways that day or something. We'll figure out something if we're all in lockdown of how to pass it together. We might as well. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of dubbing. So I just put in the thread there between the two beads. Give that a couple of pulls there. Just make sure you have a lot of thread there, because when I was doing this fly at first, I kind of thought I had it trapped in, put on the dubbin, wind it on, and go away finishing the whole thing and just come unraveled. So, you know, give it a couple of pulls. Make sure you put in a couple of extra turns in there just to make sure it's well secure. We could always ask Mikey Foley and Tommy Lane to come on maybe someday and during the Christmas special, and they might be able to tie the two winning flies for that they won in Thomastown, and the boys had over 200 and something fish, maybe more, was it? I forget which boys. Actually, way over that. She's at 100 fish in most sessions. So we might get maybe Tommy and Mikey. We might be able to zoom these in, guys, and get to see the killer patterns for Thomastown. Great result. So, and one thing I liked about the Thomastown competition was myself and Dave, we both commented, and I think a few other people had, you know, wet flies really came in onto their own spider patterns, and you know, there were sessions won with over 100 fish that were caught in spider patterns. Lads wet fly fishing, I haven't seen lads wet fly fishing in competitions in 15, 20 years. Bar, you know, an odd guy would take a couple of casts here and there, but there's guys doing it for 3 solid hours, 2 men in each team. So that'll be definitely one for the books in the next couple of weeks, as we might go through some wet flies and stuff like that for early season fishing. We're going to kind of focus you know, every week I'm going to kind of do a selection of flies, or if someone asks us for something in particular, I'll tie him. But other than that, we'll kind of focus on early spring cotton fishing, what we need to have in the box for wet flies, nymphs, dries, bit of lock style stuff. You know, winter stuff as well. You know, I was down in Ned Maher's today. I was there during the week. I was there last Saturday going to do a bit of winter stocky fishing this year, and lucky enough he's just down the road. He's half an hour down the road in Kilkenny, and I'm able to get down there. Lovely venue, well worth checking out. And a Christmas zonker, Howard. Hi Stephen from Tasmania, Tasmanian Flyers Club. Great to have you guys here. Hope you are enjoying the show. And as I say, if anybody, this is not staged anymore, so this is pure live. And if anybody has anything they want to see or talk about, by all means send us over a message, and we'll get. We have the technology, Rob, to zoom the boys in. Our IT support has just come on there and said we have the technology to zoom Mikey and Tommy Lane in for the Christmas special. They're going to tie the killers that won the Thomastown competition. But anyway, there's a fly that got a few trout for me this year, and really was effective during that summer months when we had a lot of high water. It was absolutely fantastic. The hot orange bead and behind that copper, one for depth, and secondly for that attractor pattern in the kind of coloured water. Really good, really effective. not competition friendly. Sorry to the competition guys, you're going to have to cover up that bead if it's competition. Only one bead allowed to be shown, but we're not always competition fishing. Sometimes we are going for pleasure, and yeah, really, really effective nymph all through the summer months into the spring months. And I'm sure if I had been fishing it in March, April, would have been getting quite a lot of fish on it too. So hope you have a lot of success with that one. Thanks, Graham. Hope you enjoyed the setup. A little bit more advanced than we had back in March or April when I was just zooming on the tablet. But yeah, said might as well, if I'm going to do it right. A motto of mine in life. And so we hired in Field and IT consultants from Kilmallock, and he got stuck in here for a few nights online and got us going, and fair play. So right, I'm going to do one more for you, and this one is going to be a fly for the lake. So I've been down and say Ned Maher's there for the last couple of over the last 2 weeks or so. I've been getting up and down to Ned's, kind of half hoping, fingers crossed, that we can get our not a hope. Mikey Foley says not a hope. Mikey, come on, man. Jeez, you can't be a champ and not come on and give away that make you a true champion, a people's champion, Mikey, is to come on and share them patterns. Definitely. Tommy Lane, I'd say Tommy Lane is thanks, Colin Mullally there, new neighbour. Colin's just moved from down to Kells there recently. He covered our fishing competition in Thomastown, did a fantastic job. Really excited about the video that's coming out for that competition this year. So yeah, glad you liked the setup, Colin. So I've been down in Nades over the last couple of weeks, getting a couple of fish here. Was down there today, this morning, for a couple of hours. Probably wasn't as good as it was last week, trying some different stuff. But there's been one or kind of two patterns that have been a little bit standoutish. Kind of want to get back into my stocky bashing, kind of bank fishing, and this is one that has fished for me before quite a bit, and it's catching a few fish and getting. It's just one of those flies when I'm putting it up, I'm just getting an instant reaction. So I'm obviously not fishing all day because I'm thinking of AWOL maybe coming up the Winter League, and we're going to be down there 2 if not 3 times. So kind of not to over sicken the fish on it. So if I get 1 or 2 fish on a fly, I tend to take it off and try and figure out something else. But this one, every time I've put it up, has got me a reaction, and it's one worth showing. It's a great fly, kind of a buzzer / apps bloodworm / I don't know. There is a name on it. I know Hubert Smith, a good friend of mine. Years ago we were talking about this fly, and I'm not even going to tell you what I called it because it'll make me sound completely stupid. But he had said to me, well, that's actually such and such a fly. So if anyone's got the name of it, by all means, bang it over to me, and I'll pass on that information. But it's something that I seen it years back, probably in a magazine or something along the way, as we do see millions of flies in magazines and online all the time. Thought it looked pretty class, tied it up, a couple of different colours, and this is the one that has always kind of worked for me. So say it's along the line of a buzzer style apps. Small little bit of lead just up there, the thorax. Want to save a whole heap of thread going in there, and secondly, just that little bit of plop when it hits the water. Now, what I'm going to do then is just thinking about all the steps of this one now. Black thread. We are then going to put in a silver rib. This one is 0.1 silver by Sabaya. Just get that rib to sit on top so we don't get a little bit of a kink in her. Then I'm going to have a little bit of size 14 Uni-Mylar pearl. Snip that off and tie that in there as well. And this can be quite well fished under bung or freestyling, free lining as a buzzer. Just slightly come around the bend a slight little bit and then back up the body. And like a normal buzzer, we don't want that body to be too heavy. We want it to be as slim as possible, and just cover the hook. Nice even body up to that lid. A couple of wraps just over that lid. Probably shown that before, but it's okay. Take your pearl, pull it straight up over the back, secure it in on top. Take your wire rib and rivet. Up along. Again, well done to Paul White. If anyone knows Paul White, send him a message to say he won our prize for this week. Watch out Monday, we're going to have more prizes coming all this winter for us to help us pass the challenging times ahead, to say the least. So tidy that up, whip finish that off. Dave Furlong, yeah, Dave, I tell you, well, look at you, have a couple of options. Dave is looking for a voice that wouldn't break the bank. One that's going to be well. I tell you, downstairs. So this is my J voice, and you know it was a treat for me. I normally wouldn't have gear this kind of high end, but real treat when it passed me up exams. But I also downstairs I have the Stoneflow Cayman. And I do a fair bit of tying on it. And I've sold a lot of them this year. They're a fantastic voice. And some Saturday night I'm going to do an episode on just doing detached bodies alone. Because there's so many different ways to do detached bodies and things like that. And the Cayman voice is a fantastic tool. It can be used in so many different ways. It has a lot of features to it. Very simple, very robust. Really can't fault it. So if you're looking for something in around, you know, the 150, 180 mark, that's going to do you for a couple of years. It's definitely one really worth looking at. Give me a shout on it, Dave. And there is some other stuff there, a little bit lower cost. Would you get as long out of them? Would you get as much use out of them? I don't know. Would it be quite as good? They're okay, you know, some of the voices. But I think, you know, it's not going to break the bank. You can't go wrong with Stoneflow Cayman. Really can't. But do give me a bell on it one of the days, or shoot me a message and I'll have a chat with you about it and tell you about the features. But you will see me using it throughout this winter tying session because of a couple of features that are really important. So basically I was just threading back up me Tommy Fly thread, the hot red, and it's going to attach that in there to head. Yeah, Robbie Berry was on there as well, saying the same. Robbie's giving a bit of IT advice there as well to anyone who wants any help with IT or setting up systems like what we've done here. That's Robbie Phelan's the man. Absolutely fantastic service. He's from Kilmallock and Limerick, but look, we don't hold that against him. He was partial. He's kind of half Leinster, half Munster. I think, Robbie, are you? I think sometimes you wear the blue jersey. Sometimes when maybe indoors you like to put on that blue jersey when no one's looking. But kind of half Leinster, half Munster. But yeah, good guy, and on IT, it's hard to find someone better really. So basically, I've just tied in 2 red flexi floss pieces sticking out overhead. Anybody got the real name for this fly? Shoot over. For the life of me, I can't think of it. I know Hubert Smith told me that's a particular blah blah blah, but I cannot for the life of me think of it. Robbie, we would have fished this, I think, back in our days in Curra Springs. Remember those days that we used to yeah, Michael Callaghan was on there as well, saying that that's a good voice he has himself. So I think you'll find, Dave Furlong, that that voice is quite popular. A lot of guys using it. I certainly can't find any flaws in it, and so I'm just making sure that head is formed up there, and just whip finish off in underneath. And you can cut those horns, for the want of a better description, whatever length you want. Now I know you can tie a similar, and I've tied a similar fly with yeah, we did, Rob. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, I remember our was our dialbacks with the salt and vinegar, coloured cheeks, that blue. Remember that? Wasn't that us as well? Up in Curra Springs back in that was a few years ago, when Robbie used to live in Kilkenny. We used to go up and fish Curra Springs. Nap's brother and Robbie, yeah, it's snow. Naps would have legs coming out both sides and the same colour going up to her body. It's a little bit, yeah, there is a particular name, and I have been told, and I'll tell you, I'll research it and I'll find it for you next week. I'll research it and find it for you next week, and then we'll all know what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish that off with a coat of resin. Just putting a little bit of resin into one of me. I use a kind of a little tub, quite easy. Put a bit of resin in there, and especially if you're tying a lot of flies, and it just keeps everything neat and tidy. So, fine artist brush as well, I find useful. And I'm going to give that all a nice coat. And a real important factor about coating buzzers, especially buzzers, and perdigons as well, you must get the resin to come the whole way from the hook up to the eye or up to the bead. You must seal that fly when you're resin. I often get loads, you regularly get people saying, I gotta use that Solarez resin. Solarez is, in my book, is by far the best resin on the market. I know some other people like some of the other model stuff, and that's fine, but for me, the way, from my experience, and it's only my take on it, again, not preaching to anyone, but I like the Solarez stuff. They have a great range, and I find it fantastic. But you've got to seal it, so you've got to make sure you're up to in around the eye, the metal on the eye, down onto the butt. Same with a bead on a perdigon. Otherwise, you do run a risk of that clouding. There's no doubt it will cloud. So I just make sure I get in around everywhere. Well sealed up. Nice even coat. Not putting a massive big glossy glass coat on it. I just want to protect the fly. I'm not looking to get that real mad shine off it. Tommy Lane says 267 here. Tommy, you may explain what that means. You have me baffled. Okay. Pin. So I just put the needle through the eye like that to make sure that if any resin, when I was sealing up around the head, gets doesn't block up the head, because it can be tough stuff, so it can be quite hard to clean out that eye afterwards. So just make sure, nice and clear. Take out the needle, and your eye is perfectly clean. One or two little bits of tidying up to do there. As seen when I used a pen, and that's it. Very simple. I'll trim them off a little bit. That there now over the last couple of days on the Dare Springs has been has certainly been getting attention of fish, and has got a reaction. I wonder if I kept it up all day, put it up most of the day, how much would you get in it? But very naturally, kind of still has that bit of stocky look about it. But definitely one to have in the winter fly box this year. And I'm sure you can tie it in a multitude of colours, and it'll work well in different venues and different colours. But Tommy and Mikey, George McGrath's on there. George is doing some great videos at the moment, guys. I'm not sure if he's been checking out his YouTube channel. Make sure you do. He's doing the fly fishing tapes, I think it is, George. And he's done some great interviews with some great anglers. Dave Donovan was on there. I forget the gentleman's name, the first one. Sean Maher was on there tonight. I watched it there before I came on live, and it was really interesting interviews. Definitely check him out. It's great. Graham Lonigan says the COVID buzzer. Maybe that's what we'll call it, the COVID buzzer. If no one come up with a name for it, we'll coin the COVID buzzer, boys, and it'll be our secret. But yeah, really good, really well worth fishing for the winter months, and yeah, perfect. Well, look at. That's it, guys. What I'm going to do tomorrow is I have got, not like last time we were doing this, I would have to spend some part of Sunday posting up the pictures of the flies to try and give you a more detailed look. I hope yeah, that could be it, Rob. I think it might be fairly close to there. I'm going to have a little competition tomorrow. Very simple question. First person to give me the answer to the question Something based on these flies tonight. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flies in that. 2 of those daddies, 2 of those nymphs, 1 of those sage, and a little buzzer. Going to put up a little question tomorrow on the Facebook page. First person into answers gets those flies sent to them on Monday morning. So make sure you have a gawk at it tomorrow and see what that question is. First one in gets that prize. Paul White, your prize is going to be on its way to you Monday as well. I'm going to give you a shout now in a few minutes. So look, guys, girls, thanks so much for watching. Great to be back live. Hope you've enjoyed the evening. Hope you've enjoyed the new tech. Thanks a million, Robbie, Phelan, for all your help. Huge thanks for all your support throughout the year. So it was a tough year and a lot of people. And I think we're in for a long winter. So let's try to stay safe out there, everyone, and we get through it together. We're going to be on live here next Saturday night at 8:30 again, God willing. And going to be here for a couple of weeks, if not the entire winter. We're going to put on a bit of a Christmas special as well to have a bit of fun, because we're not going to be able to meet up in the pubs and have a bit of crack. So let's have a bit of crack online if we can as an angling group, and make sure to stop in and check in with us along the way. If anybody has anything during the week that they want to see Saturday Night Live or want to talk about, by all means bang it across. Send me a message, whatever, and I will do my best to cover it, have a look at it. This will be on, I'll put this up on YouTube tomorrow, so people will get the chance to watch it back if they want. And if you're looking for any fly tying or fly fishing gear, make sure to check us out. Website's there, www.piscarifly.com. We're adding to the range every day, and really appreciate all the support we get from our customers. So look, guys, that's it. Gonna say a good night to you all, and stay safe, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday night, whatever you get up to. See you all next Saturday night. Thanks, take care.